Sounds to me like you're daunted. Say it again like you're undaunted.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you are listening to this. This is the Often Daunted Podcast, an ignorantly optimistic perspective on Indiana basketball. This is part of the College Huddle Network, a network of podcasts, an expansive collection of podcasts covering college football and basketball from coast to coast. I can't appreciate them enough for letting me into that network. I've been able to make a few connections, and it should be a good year. This, our fourth season covering Indiana basketball. This, the first season covering Darren DeVries Indiana basketball. I am so pumped to hit the ground running, this being the first recap episode. Just sitting here in my basement in Fort Wayne, based out of Fort Wayne, the Fortress of Solitude, away from runny noses and dirty diapers. And I am so ready to kick off the second episode of the season. You know, I'm tooling with the order of the show. Every show better than the last. That's the goal. That's what I want out of this podcast. I truly enjoy doing all this. It's a labor of love, but I want to make sure that it gets a little better every time. Maybe I'm bringing something else to it. Tooling with the order of the show. So please let me know what you think of my work. Let me know what you think may work. Let me just know any of your suggestions are warranted, and I welcome them. So on this episode, I'm going to be recapping Marian. That is first and foremost. Next up will be a segment this week. This week, I will be going through our non-conference schedule, just looking at the KenPom rankings of each of these. I'll be presenting them from lowest ranked opponent to highest ranked opponent in the KenPom rankings. Next up will be the Indiana news, as there is every episode, followed by the conference and national news. Then it's on to the Flaunted and the Daunted. I know I forgot the Flaunted and the Daunted last week. For you returning listeners, I apologize. You know who was making another historic, record-breaking appearance on that Daunted list. But for you new to the show, just checking in for your first time, thank you for being here. The Flaunted and the Daunted is the winners and losers of the week. I will be presenting those right after the conference and national news. Then it will be on to previewing both the Baylor game and the Alabama A&M game. Alabama A&M. A&M. There we go. Alabama A&M. I apologize. That being our first regular season game of the season. Followed by those previews, I will have Burke's Big Five. On this episode, I am doing Burke's Big Five, Big Ten NIL Beers. Now, there's no way I've tried all of them. So this is entirely based solely on the cans. What looks the coolest, what pays the best homages to their home school. Then it's on to the Hoosier History Hit, as it is to send you out every episode. Lastly, before we jump into the recap, I have far more listeners on the audio platforms right now than I do YouTube viewers at this time. So if all of the audio subscribers just open up that YouTube app, subscribe, and be on your way. Doesn't cost you nothing, but that may get this show just a bit more traction here amidst a lot of awesome and very awesome and very warranted football noise. But just looking to get the show, just trying to make it a better presentation every time. And, you know, people want to watch what other people watch. Help a brother out. So, as always, if you would like to follow me across socials, mostly X and Instagram, you can follow me everywhere at Often Daunted. So, let's get right into the episode. Indiana looked good, beating the Marian Knights 107-46 in a game that was it was over roughly 6 minutes into it. Just my first initial thought of this entire game is gone are the days of working the ball inside to an exhaustive level. Gone are the days of burning the shot clock down to the damn stingers and sending up a long two. Indiana was whipping that thing around. Gone are the back down days. Okay? We are looking to whip it around and get shots up early and often. good threes off a ton of motion. That looks to be what is going to be the formula for any success that the Hoosiers are going to be able to have this season. And you saw it on full display. The spacing that this team's roster currently allows us is massive. It sets these guys up for some quick shots, nice shots. You know, you don't settle for the long two right now. Darren DeVries showed it's Marian. So we got to take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But that being said, the way this team was looking to play is something that is entirely new to anybody who's been following this team for a while. And you know what? It's a very welcome sight to see. Whatever this team lacks in size and athleticism, I'm going to enjoy watching them try to make up for it with effort and just fast physical play. Fast, physical, relentless play on the basketball court. Like I said, there were just quick possessions on full display. It was so frustrating to watch when the last two seasons in particular, felt like Indiana was being so picky with their spots and that they would just corner themselves into settling far too often for less than efficient shots. You know, they seem to be just wanting the perfect spot each time. And you know what? Most possessions, you're not even going to get presented with that in the span of the shot clock. So you got to take what you can get. If there's a good shot presented, take it. And I think that this team, just based on the one exhibition, again, with Marian, I think that this team is going to do just that. Lots of threes. Almost half of their shots taken from the floor were from deep. 15 of 30 from three. 50%, absolutely incredible. You know, just shooting is such an alien sight. If anybody's been truly fully invested in the squad in the Mike Woodson era, such just 50% shooting translates. No matter who your opponent is, shooting translates to every game, every situation, every scenario. And going out there shooting 50% is absolutely incredible. I was excited to see these guys just busting their ass on the defensive end. Boxing out was abundant. No ball watchers were allowed on Darren DeVries' court. Don't care if it's even against Marian. I didn't see much defensive complacency here. And if the Hoosiers are going to compete at all in conference play, or just look to give the likes of Louisville and Kentucky a game, they will need to make up for their lack of size with an extensive level of defensive cohesion, an extensive level of defensive effort and teamwork. And they were in constant motion on both ends. A truly new sight for an Indiana fan right now. And we should the team isn't the most, touted out there. These players aren't the most touted individuals at their position. But effort and just a team identity can make up for so much of that. We saw what Bagman and the touted talent got us. It didn't get us to the tournament last season. And I'm not saying this team's going to get to the tournament, but if I'm not going to the tournament, I'd rather go down with a bunch of guys working their ass off. So I was just overjoyed to see how Indiana played this one. Speaking of just individuals, Lamar started off a little slow, but found his range within the first 14, about at the 14-minute mark. Yeah. He had ended his day, Lamar Wilkerson. Sorry, I got to say the full names for a while. Lamar Wilkerson ended his day 3 for 8 from the floor, 2 for 6 from three-point range. Ending with 8 points on the day in 19 minutes. Not the hottest start, but that dude can shoot the lights out. We all know that. Shooting translates. This team as a total shot 50%. We're going to be just fine. If he misses his shots, you know that some dude will pick up the action there. So Trent Sisley, let's talk about him. Trent had an absolutely incredible debut as a freshman Hoosier. Just as good of a debut as you could hope for. 4 for 4 from the floor, 8 for 10 4 for 4 from 3. A perfect night of 3-point shooting. 8 for 10 from the floor, 23 points on the day, tying Tucker DeVries's game high for points. Trent Sisley, while all that shooting is nice, and that shooting is primo nice, 8 for 10, great day. But when you're saying 4 for 4 from 3, absolute perfection. What almost impressed me more about Trent Sisley's game was his passing. That he just had a few great bounce passes to the baseline on dudes cutting to position for efficient shots. And this team is constantly hunting efficient shots, or they were in this game at least. And I truly, truly hope that continues. This kid isn't looking to ride the pine this season. He's looking to play a steady role in the DeVries Hoosiers, and this was a phenomenal start to his case. Tucker DeVries is an absolute bucket. Also led the Hoosiers in distribution with 6 assists in this one, really looking to set the example and direct Darren's game plan. And having him this season is going to be just an absolute godsend on jump-starting the DeVries era of Hoosier basketball. He is just the lighter fluid we need to hopefully get a new system, a new identity, and just everything burning in Bloomington. It's in a good way, burning in a good way. The way he was able to just preside over the entire game was a veteran showing from super veteran with how many years he's been in college, but it was a veteran showing for Tucker DeVries in his premier game in Assembly Hall. Sam Alexis came off the bench and looked pretty damn strong. He looked pretty damn strong. With the game's only double-double, his athleticism is great. His size will not be up to par with a lot of the guys that he will be tasked to defend in the Big Ten, but I'm hoping that Indiana's willingness to shoot the 3 will call for far more long rebounds than it would just, bodying somebody in the paint and grabbing a board. I think we have the opportunity for a lot of offensive rebounds just based on how long those things are going to come off the rim if they do. And I think that in its own right may potentially negate a lot of the lack of size that Indiana might have come conference play. This is an ignorantly optimistic perspective on Indiana basketball. I'm going to paint the prettiest picture I possibly can at all times. It's what I do. Defensively, the Hoosiers aren't going to be the biggest unit, like I said, but their ability, more importantly than their ability, their willingness to close out on shooters and putting forth the effort to rotate in time was just major in this exhibition. Again, against lesser competition, but long shots create long rebounds. If we aren't ball watching, I have to hope Indiana can be pretty effective at grabbing the loose rock. And you saw the fundamentals on full display throughout this squad when grabbing the loose rock. 2 hands. There are no weak rebounds. You go up there, you get it. As far as Reed Bailey goes, if he can hold down the 5 respectfully, the 4-out, 1-in Hoosiers are going to have a ton of spacing, allowing for a ton of shooting. There aren't many guys that'll go and get you one, create their own shot on this squad, it feels like. But if we are 4-out, 1-in, and we are in constant motion on the offensive end, I truly think we'll be just fine. I think we'll have enough opportunities with open shooters that they can set and shoot. I just had a great time sitting back and watching the spacing and just the room to operate that the new Hoosiers play style warrants. It's awesome. Yeah. You can't really discuss it too much because what's there to look into because it's Marian. But there was just a lot to like in this game. Let me talk about what Reed Bailey, as good as he was defensively because he was much bigger than everyone on Marian, he was pretty darn good offensively, ending his night with 10 points, 3 for 6 from the floor, 1 for 1 from 3. He is an offensively gifted player at the 5, and we will have to rely on that. That we are going to be in a lot of shootouts, and production from the 5 will be of the utmost importance. But I was more just focused on his defense because we are going to need him to step up and become a defensive player if this Indiana team wants to truly contend with the best competition out there. And yeah, great showing all around. I was just excited to watch Indiana compete again, and this team looks very willing to compete. The Showalter Fish of the game for this one is going to go to Tucker DeVries. I could have given it to Trent Sisley for just the poise he showed as a freshman. Again, his passing really blew me away. The bounce passes that he was able to make were took some next level poise. But it goes to Tucker DeVries. He just really displayed just how important he is going to be to this year's team, how important he is going to be to kicking off the DeVries era in Bloomington. He is consciously looking to help reestablish a new identity and play style in Assembly Hall. And I just can't thank him enough for it. I just can't thank him enough because this play style is a fun one. It's an exciting one. There are going to be days where you miss shots and it doesn't go your way, but there are going to be some days where you are just lights out, and those are going to be some really fun games. Lastly, the court looked great. Court looked awesome on TV. It looks great. The lighter color just really makes for a pleasant viewing experience. I know we're all sentimental about the history. That's what we just rest on, the history. But the court looks great. I think it plays so much better through television than the old one. Yeah, not much more else to go into on that Marian game because what else can you do? Indiana, again, 107. Wait, what did I say? Yeah, 107, Marian 46. On to the Indiana news for the week. Psych. On to the segment being the non-conference opponents for this season. In this segment, again, each episode, if you're new to the show, I'm going to be just doing a little segment, just something different that isn't along the lines of every other episode I have on this podcast. This is the non-conference opponents this season, where they're ranking in KenPom, and just going from the last ranked team to the highest. Not the last, but the fourth from last in our lowest ranked opponent, Chicago State, who we will be taking on December 20th. Again, there are only 3 worse teams in all of college basketball than this Chicago State team. This will be the game immediately after Kentucky. Will the Hoosiers be looking to keep it rolling or take out a week's worth of aggression after their previous opponent? We shall see. These are absolute must-wins. Chicago State, they are ranked 362 on KenPom with the 356. Yeah, that is the last place offense. And the 365. Yeah, never mind. 356th ranked offense and the third from last place defense at 362. The next up from the bottom is the Lindenwood Lions. The Lindenwood Lions are ranked 328 in KenPom with the 353rd offense and the 263rd defense. We will be taking them on November 20th. Next up, we have our opponent coming up for the first regular season game of the season. I will be previewing them later in this episode. That is Alabama A&M. The Bulldogs are currently ranked 320 on KenPom with the 336 offense and the 281st defense. We play them November 5th. On November 29th, we will be taking on Bethune-Cookman at the 236 spot on KenPom, 277 overall offense, 183 defense. Must win, absolutely. Milwaukee Panthers must win. 11-20. November 12th, we will be taking on Milwaukee. Ranked 212 on KenPom with the 193rd offense and the 233rd defense. On December 22nd, we will be taking on the Siena Saints with the 208 overall rank on KenPom and the 197th ranked offense, the 227th ranked defense. That will be the last non-con cupcake on the schedule, so please do not lose that game. Do not lose that game before we head into Big Ten play, like the real chunk of Big Ten play. We do have a few sprinkled in that non-con schedule. Following them on the ranks is going to be Incarnate Word. The Incarnate Word Cardinals are currently ranked 175th on KenPom with the 158th offense, the 229th defense, and we will be playing them November 16th. After them, it gets into the meat of it, the meat of our non-con, starting with the Kansas State Wildcats. That will be on November 25th. The Kansas State Wildcats are the fourth best game that Indiana has on the non-conference schedule, with currently sitting at 61 on KenPom with the 55th best offense and the 63rd best defense. This is a game at home, so far less of a test than our next KenPom ranked opponent here. Not only being 14 spots behind the next one I'm about to mention, but also just a game being at home. This is an opportunity for Indiana to make a statement, to garner a good win heading into Big Ten play. Jerome Tang was able to pull in PJ Haggerty this season from Memphis. Second team All-American last season, declared for the NBA draft, but came back. He has averaged nearly 20 points per game in his college career, including better than 21 points per game in each of his last two seasons. The third best team on Indiana's non-conference schedule is Marquette, sitting at number 47 on KenPom with the 69th offense and the 27th defense. This game at the United Center also makes it a little more difficult because I feel like both teams' fans will show up in full force, but I'm hoping, despite it being football season, the largest living alumni base in the country can take over. I mean, Chicago's such a home base for IU alumni, but I just really want them to take over the United Center. With Marquette fans fully invested in basketball by that time, might be a little tough. I have a feeling they'll be willing to dish out some cash while we're still buying some football tickets. Next up is going to be Louisville. Louisville currently, we have them scheduled for December 6th. They are sitting at number 14 overall in KenPom with the 5th best offense and the 38th best defense. This would be a huge win for the Hoosiers. December 6th, it's going to be a wild day in Indianapolis. I expect Indiana fans to be taking over Indianapolis, absolutely taking over Indianapolis. But during this neutral site game at Gainbridge, I just don't know if they will be taking over Gainbridge. Much like my thoughts about the possible Marquette matchup, I certainly hope they're taking over Gainbridge. But much like the Marquette matchup, this may be a day where there are just larger fish for the Indiana Athletic fans to fry. While Louisville may have just shifted all their attention entirely onto basketball season by this point, and Louisville isn't far from Indianapolis. I'm just saying, I'm hoping that this is not the case. I think it'll be Indiana Red, Indiana Crimson in that stadium instead of just a sea of Louisville Cardinal. But I really hope that a lot of people are doing that two for day. Big Ten championship, Indiana versus Louisville basketball game. What a day. What a Hoosier day in Indianapolis. Lastly, the top target on the non-conference. You hate them. I hate them. On December 13th, Indiana heads into Rupp Arena for a showdown with the 4th-ranked on KenPom Kentucky Wildcats, currently with the 9th-ranked offense and the 4th-ranked defense. If Darren wants to supercharge the ramp-up for hysteria surrounding the Indiana Hoosiers in just the start of his time here, what better way than upsetting Kentucky in Rupp after restarting a long, cold, dead rivalry near and dear to my heart? I didn't really have many diehard Indiana fans within the family growing up. Again, Irish Catholic from Fort Wayne. Who do you think? Irish Catholic from Fort Wayne, not many of them went to big state schools. Who do you think my family was supporting? That being said, the Kentucky game happened, the watch shot happened my freshman year, and it just much like I'm trying to see this one supercharge the DeVries era. That game supercharged my entire Indiana consciousness. And I can't thank that rivalry enough for what it gave me, for the highs, the lows, all of it. I love this rivalry. I'm so glad it's back. And I want to see Darren sneak out the win and just get this era started. It's a tough non-conference schedule. Indiana administration has heard just big wins here matter. So they went out and they scheduled the likes of Marquette, Kansas State, Louisville, and Kentucky. A tougher non-conference schedule than last season, and I'm excited to see how this team fares. Our shooting has us in any game, but it's going to depend on how cohesive we are defensively, how tenacious they are defensively, and just, how consistent they are offensively. Really excited to see what we got in this Indiana team, and really excited for a ton of these non-conference matchups. That was the segment for this week. On to the Indiana news. Starting off with just a few recruiting updates. 5-star, 6'8" forward Anthony Thompson visited Bloomington just last month after taking visits to UNC, Texas, Michigan, Kentucky, and Ohio State. And there were rumblings that it was down to Indiana and Ohio State. Ultimately, Anthony Thompson commits to Ohio State. You know what? We move on. Like I said, we need to see how Darren fares with the squad he has, what kind of guys he wants to go after, and what he's looking for in his team. If they don't want to be a part of it, I don't want them to be a part of it. We move on. Arifan Dian visited Indiana just this last week, the number 1 ranked center in the 2026 class. Just nice to see him making a visit. And Ethan Taylor will be making his decision shortly after. He just recently canceled his visit to Kentucky. As a Kansas native, I could see that being his landing spot. But if that's the case, the decision may become just a bit easier for Arifan Dian to choose the Hoosiers, because I'm sure the Kansas is on Arifan Dian's short list as well, or just vice versa. If one of them picks Kansas, they both are chasing an Adidas bag. Hopefully, we got one for him. But again, I need to tell myself, we don't need bag men. If they want the bag that we have, because it's a nice bag, they can take it. But we want them to buy into the culture that Darren is trying to create here. Oh, new beginnings. I gotta recondition myself. Still making decisions currently. We have Mika Murinen, 5 stars, 6'11" from Finland. He currently has Indiana in his top 7, and he is the number 14 overall recruit. And 6'2", Guard Jordan Smith Jr. has Indiana in his top 5 currently as the number 4 overall recruit. Several other offers out there. We've just got to wait and see, guys. Got to wait and see who Darren's able to get, who he wants to get, and got to see what he's able to get out of transfers. This team, we there's still so much we don't know. See, it's hard to talk on a team that you just met. You just met this Indiana Hoosier team. But I'm going to do my damnedest, okay? Next up is Cignetti's new contract, 8 years, 11.6 annually, making him the 3rd highest paid coach. And you know what? It's not enough. This guy, he's done miracles on me. He's done miracles on me. Curt Cignetti deserves all the money we can possibly offer him. This dude has ignited a passion for football and just lit a flame that everyone thought long dead. Actually, you know, I say long dead. It was never born. It was never alive. He brought football to Bloomington, and it's what an exciting time to be an Indiana fan. He deserves everything. Cignetti, what a massive contract. Deserves every freaking cent of it and more. After a successful week beating Hanover 8-0 and Wisconsin 4-1, a pair of Hoosiers are honored as Big Ten men's soccer players of the week. Yes, I'm bringing up soccer. There's in the Indiana news. If you're new to the show, I will just highlight some of my favorite stories around Indiana athletics as a whole. The offensive player of the week was Palmer Alt for Indiana. That is throughout all the Big Ten. Palmer Alt. He was able to tally 5 goals as the Hoosiers collected a pair of wins this week. Scored the game-tying and game-winning goals in a 2-1 win at number 25 Kentucky. Collects his 3rd Offensive Player of the Week award just this season. And, his first one since September 23rd this year. The Big Ten Freshman of the Week was our goalkeeper, Judwellen Michel. Judwellen Michel. I'm going to say Michel. Montreal. It's a French Canadian name. It's tough for me. Michel. Yeah, there we go. Judwellen Michel surrendered just 1 goal in 180 minutes of play amongst those 2 games. He claimed his first career win after posting 4 saves in a 2-1 win over number 25 Kentucky. And the last Indiana freshman of the week was Charlie Hauer last season on November 5th. Next up on the Indiana news, thoughts go out to Indiana State Sycamores. It's usually Indiana Hoosier news, but I wanted to bring up Indiana State's situation. And thoughts go out to them, and in particular, their head coach, Matthew Greaves, right now, head coach of the basketball team. In an official statement from ISU, Indiana State men's basketball head coach Matthew Greaves will be taking a leave of absence, effective immediately, due to a medical procedure ahead of the start of the 2025 to 2026 season. Associate head coach Mark Schlesinger will serve as the Sycamores acting head coach in Greaves' absence. Matthew Graves, my bad. Graves recently visited Union Hospital for an evaluation after experiencing tightness in his chest. Following a thorough examination, doctors determined that Matthew would need to undergo triple bypass surgery this Monday morning. Thoughts go out to the entire team just trying to start their season off right after their last coach left them high and dry. Or 2 seasons ago. Thoughts go out to him first and foremost, but also just a basketball fan base that got a taste of, the excitement again, only to have it ripped away from them. Here's hoping that, our ISU doesn't bother me at all. They're in state. Half of my best friend went to ISU. So feel for them. Conference national news. Let's get on to it. Heading up the conference and national news. Luke Good. God, I still just So bad with it. Luke Good's not allowed to continue his college career at Indiana in a system built for the type of player he is, but G Leaguers are allowed to start theirs. G Leaguers are coming to college, and it's honestly incredibly gross to me. Incredibly gross. And honestly, this is the first time I'm with Izzo, maybe in the entire transfer portal era. Izzo, from a report from Myron Medcalf at ESPN on Monday, Landon Johnson, a former four-star recruit who averaged 7.6 points over 3 seasons in the G League, announced his commitment to Louisville. Last month, another G Leaguer, Thierry Darlan, announced his commitment to Santa Clara. Izzo has been making the rounds, claiming this to be a dangerous precedent. He really has. He had said, "Well, what about the freshman you recruited there? That's somebody's son, and he thinks he's got himself in a good place, and all of a sudden, Shazam." He dropped a Shazam on him. Shazam. They pull you out of their hat. They pull out of their hat and bring a 21 or 22-year-old in from the G League. To me, it's ridiculous. It's embarrassing, and I love my job. I don't respect my profession. I don't respect people. I don't respect whoever is doing that. Whoever made those decisions because they're afraid that a lawyer is going to sue them sooner or later, you've got to fight the fight. Maybe I'm the dummy, but I'll never agree to that stuff. He continued. The NCAA has got to regroup. They've got to regroup. That's my opinion. Only my opinion. Don't be mad at anybody else. Be mad at us. But I'm not going to be mad at the players. I'm going to be mad at the adults in the room. And so don't blame the players anymore. Blame the adults that make the decisions, that allow some of these ridiculous things to happen. Absolutely ridiculous that these G Leaguers are allowed to come in. I mean, yeah, they're 21, 22. And, yeah, if your professional career doesn't work out, you can always try college again. Crazy stuff. That being said, if Darren decides that that's the route he wants to go, I am absolutely a company man. I will toe the company line, and I am, subject to change my mind if Darren agrees with the other mindset. Got some scores from around Big Ten exhibitions for you. Michigan loses a close one to Cincy, 100-98, outscoring Cincinnati 64-48 in the second half, almost making the comeback. Michigan still falls. 4 Wolverines were able to score in double digits. The top scorer of the game was Yaxel Lindenborg with 31 points and 12 rebounds. This kid is going to be a problem. Roddy Gale went on to score 18 points. Will Cheddar added 15, and Elliot Cadeau added 14. Nico Medved's Minnesota team played North Dakota State to the score of 80-54 Minnesota. 6'7" Cade Tyson with 28 points. Penn State loses to the Flyers in Dayton 62-78. Freshman Caden Mingo and redshirt junior Freddie DeLeon led the Nittany Lions with 16 points apiece. Penn State shot 18% from 3. It might be tough for the Nittany Lions in football right now, but it is a lot tougher for them in basketball, honestly. And yeah, sorry you didn't get Kurt Signetti. Boo-hoo. He's ours. UCLA edges out San Diego State 67-60. UCLA had 3 players who were able to score in double digits, that being Donovan Dent with 18, Sky Clark with 13, Trent Perry with 10, and they were able to go 7 for 17 from deep. The Balkan Block in Illinois beat Illinois State 92-65. Freshmen led the production as the top 2 scorers in this game were David Mirkovich and Brandon Lee. David Mirkovich with 19 points, 14 rebounds, 6 for 12 from the floor, 2 for 6 from deep. He was kind of a free throw merchant in this game. I say free throw merchant. He made it to the line 10 times, only converted on 50% of them. Brandon Lee with 17 points. USC beat Loyola Marymount 60-51. Guard Chad Baker-Mazar led the Trojans with 14 points and 3 assists in this game. Without Zoom Diallo or Desmond Claude, Washington comfortably beat up on UNLV 77-62. The biggest surprise in the exhibition season so far was BYU losing to Nebraska 90-89. The less of a surprise for me personally, because if you heard me discuss Nebraska at all last season on this show, Rink Mass, 31 points, including 7 of 8 from three-point range. The Dutch Destroyer is a monster. I mean, watching his game, he plays so hard. I respect the hell out of that guy. And, just hope he can not – I mean, I think he was out the last time we played him with that injury, but he's such a beast. 31 points, 7 of 8 from deep. BYU's defense looks like it needs some work. And, yeah, you love to see somebody who's coming in touted as just the biggest bag droppers just get a little humbled. I bet a lot of people liked watching us do that last season. Purdue taking on Kentucky this Friday in Rupp Arena on SEC Network. And I would love to see what we were in for with both of these two programs if it didn't cost giving, like, the SEC a single viewer. It's the SEC Network. I do not support the SEC at all, and I will not. So, yeah, there's that game. On to the Flaunted and the Daunted. Your winners and losers for the week, the Flaunted and the Daunted. Kicking off the Flaunted list is going to be Trent Sisley. Trent Sisley, with 27 minutes on the floor against Marian, was able to go 8 for 10, 4 for 4 from deep, and had a total of 23 points, tying Tucker DeVries for the game-high showing. Absolutely awesome debut of our highly touted freshman who decided to stick it out. He was married to Indiana. He wasn't married to the coach. So glad Darren was able to get him back in here, keep him with the program, because this is going to pay off. This guy, and it isn't like he's out there looking to go ISO. Like this kid plays fundamentally sound ball that can work in Darren's system. Trent Sisley, absolutely great showing, absolutely flaunted this week. Who else is flaunted on the Indiana Hoosiers? Tucker DeVries. Like I said, Tucker DeVries looking to kickstart his dad's vision in Bloomington. And in 21 minutes, able to go 7 for 9 from the floor, 5 for 7 from deep, 23 points, also having a game-high 6 assists, moving the ball around, just showing us what may be in store for the Hoosiers this season. Again, implementing the vision. I everything he was doing, I was loving it. It was fun to watch. Flaunted, Tucker DeVries. Also flaunted, Fernando Mendoza. I saw out there the Jets are now losing the Jets fans are now using the hashtag loser for the Hoosier. Hashtag loser for the Hoosier. That is a top tier hashtag. And Fernando Mendoza just keeps rolling. This kid is incredible. The way that he will kick it to his buddies. It's never about him. This guy is a humble god with a rocket arm. And I'm so happy he left Cal to become a Hoosier. Keep it rolling. Fernando Mendoza for Heisman. Let's go. Also flaunted Signetti in the number 2 ranked Hoosiers, the highest ranking in Indiana football history. If you would have told me Indiana was ranked number 2 in football when I was going to school there, 2011 through 2015, there's just zero context you could have provided to show that was even a possibility. It's incredible what's happening in Bloomington, and Signetti is the reason. Get paid, brother. Lastly, flaunted is the Indianapolis Colts, my other football team. Absolutely rolling, 6-1. They want to keep us down so bad. They want to disrespect us. And Indiana Jones just refuses to let him. Jonathan Taylor running the ball like a madman, like a man possessed coming out of that backfield, just barreling down the field. You'll love to see it. Everything is rolling on the football front. Here's hoping that we can pick it up on the basketball front. Daunted this week, Will Compton. Will Compton daunted First off, he was calling out Indiana for their chances against Oregon, saying that Oregon was going to wax our ass. Not a chance. We absolutely dominated that game from start to finish. You can say what you want about the score. That was not a 10-point game. Also daunted, Will Compton's football team, Nebraska's football team, losing a coach with few great options out there. Hearing Matt Rule talked as the guy at Penn State, despite him never bringing you a ranked win since 2016, is a wild thing for a fan base to have to suffer through. And the Nebraska football team is absolutely daunted right now. You look at the it's not a great outlook, but daunted Nebraska. Daunted G Leaguers going to college. Dude, if it didn't work for you there, get a job. Daunted Purdue football. This is a record. I believe it's the 12th straight appearance here on the daunted list. They are now 0-4 in conference play, having just lost to Northwestern 19-0. If you were looking to go scoreless against Northwestern, you could have done that with Walters and also saved $48 million. 2 wins on the season is more than the one you had last season. So, I mean, there's that, I guess. Progress like that, and you may find yourself on the daunted list. You may find yourself out of the daunted list within the next decade or two. So keep going, guys. Daunted Purdue football, record-breaking 12th straight appearance. I'm going to say 13. I'm going to keep adding a number every time I say it. Yeah. All right, that was your Flaunted in the Daunted. Let's get on to the preview for the Baylor Bears game. The Baylor Bears are currently led by Scott Drew in his 23rd season at Baylor, where he is 466 in 259 all-time and can pretty much grow as old as he wants on that bench after giving the Baylor Bears their only title ever. Last season, 24-25, he was 20-15 on the year, 10 for 10 in the Big 12, tied for 7th place in the Big 12. They had lost to Duke in the second round of the tournament to end their season. This will be the Bears' first trip back to Indianapolis since the program cut down the nets after winning the 2021 national title in Indianapolis, and the first time they've played IU since the IU and the Baylor Bears played in a regular season matchup, their only regular season matchup in 1980. This was number 17 Hoosiers that were able to absolutely destroy Baylor 83-47. While Indiana's coming in with a ton of new transfers and a new look roster themselves, with the number 10 transfer class according to 24/7 Sports, Baylor is also looking to figure out what they've got with Scott Drew hitting the portal hard this offseason and ending up with the number 23 transfer class. Baylor hit the factory reset after every single one of their players last year hit the portal or just left for the draft or just left. Their entire roster left, not a new coach. Not because of the coaching shift. They just wanted out of Baylor. Norchad O'Meara, gone. VJ Edgecombe, gone. Robert Wright, gone. That is 15.7, 15, and 11.5 points per game. Right there, gone. Jeremy Roach, gone. 10 points per game for them. All their production gone. Some of the top build transfers coming in are guard Obi Ogbim, yeah, God, okay. Obi Ogbim, 17.6 points per game at Wyoming. Guard Michael Rataj, 16.9 points per game at Oregon State. And guard JJ White, 13.7 points per game at Omaha. Currently, according to KenPom, the Bears are coming into Gainbridge with the 15th ranked overall offense, the 20th ranked overall defense, and ranked as the number 17th team overall. The potential starting lineup currently looks like it is made up of highly touted freshman guard Tunde Yesufu. There we go. These names, man. Tunde Yesufu, Scott Drew never shies away from starting the young guys, and I doubt he will in the case of this 5-star and number 9 overall recruit, Yusufu. Guard Obi Agbim. Obi Agbim. God, it's Agbim. Agbim. I'm going to say Agbim. Obi Agbim. He is a pure scorer, was able to find the bucket aplenty at Wyoming, averaging 17.6 points per game. Then there is guard Michael Rataj. Like I said, out of Oregon State. Beaver last year, and you suspect his experience will have him starting here. Small forward, looks to be playing the 4 this year. Dan Skillings Jr. At 6'6", he may not start at the 4, but he may not start at the 4 for many other teams out there. But Scott Drew has never shied away from looking to play undersized, high motor basketball. Much like we will have to find a way to play as the Hoosiers this year. I could see his experience at Cincinnati helping him garner a look at that starting spot here, Dan Skillings Jr., and he had averaged 9.2 points per game and 3.8 rebounds for the Bearcats last season. Lastly, in that starting position, I believe will be Caden Powell. Caden Powell, big body, experience at Rice, but also look for the possibility of Jocelyn Bodo, who averaged 5.3 points per game at High Point. But it wasn't that. It was it wasn't 5.3 points per game. That was 5.3 blocks per game. I'm sorry. That's what blew me away. I'm like, okay, maybe you just throw him out there to just do everything defensively around the rim and just let the other guys shoot. Caden Powell, big body. Believe he'll start, but the possibility of Jocelyn Bodo is out there. CBS Sports currently projects the Baylor Bears to finish 7th in the Big 12 by the season's end. And as far as their projected contributors go, what their numbers may look like, Torvik currently has Michael Rataj as the top scorer, looking to get about 14.3, projected to get about 14.3 points per game this season. Next would be Tunde Yusufu with 13.1, Obi Agbim with 10.7, and Dan Skillings Jr. with 9.9. We can appreciate what we saw from the Hoosiers in that Marian game without truly knowing what we got based on the level of competition. But this matchup is going to be an excellent barometer for both the Indiana and Baylor fan bases. Two schools truly wondering what their entirely deconstructed and reconstructed rosters are capable of. And I believe it's going to be a fast-paced shootout that will poised to take control of. Maybe it is the guys who can slow it down a bit, who can settle down, that will be able to take a lead here. Both teams will be looking to get up shots frequently, and especially frequently from beyond the arc. While we can't put too much in the Marian game, like I said, 50% from 3, even against smaller opponents, is still something very promising for the potential shootout with a Scott Drew Baylor Bear team. You feel like he almost tries to play the exact same way. Shoot early, shoot often. And if we're shooting 50% from 3, I like the Indiana Hoosiers' chances. Lastly, keep a lookout for on the Baylor bench. We will see a familiar face as James Goodis has transferred to Baylor this season. My prediction for this one is IU 87, Baylor 77. Again, this is Often Daunted, the ignorantly optimistic podcast. IU 87, I think we can pull it out. It's at Gainbridge. Come on. Next up is a preview of the Alabama A&M game. Let's go. Here's your preview. It's Alabama A&M. They're number 320 on KenPom, 336 in offense, 281 in defense, 320 out of 365 teams. We need to beat the shit out of them. Preview over. All right, starting Burke's Big Five. That is the Big Five, Big Ten NIL beers. Again, this is not based on taste, not based on, it's an IPA. It's a golden pale. It's a whatever delineation of beer it is. It's truly just based on the cans, how they look, how they play into the character of the school. And I just wanted to start by saying Swarm, Iowa's NIL beer, terrible can, would not drink. Minnesota's Duck Duck beer, vastly uninspired can, cannot go with it. And I'm just hoping nobody claims me for copyright here because I'm going to be showing some of these cans, but I am marketing you guys. So hopefully the breweries can forgive this transgression. Starting up with, I think, wait, do I have 1, 2, 3, 4? Oh, I have 6 here listed. So I'm going to just show number 6, Boiler Gold. I'm going to give it to them, man. It's a can that definitely screams support Purdue, but it is a clean look. It is a clean look on that can. This is from People's Brewing Company. Boiler Gold American Golden Ale is brewed by People's Brewing Company using ingredients researched by Purdue University and grown by local farmers. As Purdue alumni, we are proud to support fermentation science and agriculture through these collaborations. A portion of the proceeds of this beer will directly benefit programs at Purdue University. Yeah, I mean, it's a good can, Purdue. You did all right. You did all right there. Number 5 on Burke's Big 5, the Montlake Game Day Gold Lager. Montlake Game Day Gold Lager, just based on the can, you have the Washington purple and gold. You have the mountains. You have the pines. It's a nice looking can. It looks like something I'd like to take a sip of. The Montlake Game Day Lager, Gold Lager, according to Alex McNamara, Senior Brand Manager at Red Hook Brewing, we're thrilled to introduce Montlake Game Day Gold as the go-to beer for all UW fans. This partnership with Montlake Futures marks an opportunity to give back to the community and support student athletes, Red Hook style, with a cold, delicious beer. That is your number 5. Here, the number 4 would be the Ohio Pilsner by Brewdog. From Brewdog's site, the Brewdog and the Foundation have partnered to create our Ohio Pilsner, which benefits student athletes. This beer is the quintessential game day beer, an American Pilsner that has a crispy finish and crushable 4% ABV that is an instant touchdown for all college football fans. While this beer shares the tried and true backbone of the traditional American lager, we have elevated it with Midwest-grown hops to conjure a sense of home team pride. The can speaks to the school. I mean, that is Ohio State branding if I've ever seen it. Big, bold, kind of obnoxious, but it's a decent can. It honestly, amongst the list, it does look like the most beer, it does look like the most beer can here. Number 3, I have On the Banks by Twin Elephant Brewing Company. As alums and supporters of Rutgers athletics, we are excited to bring you a collaborative project that we started with Knights Raritan NIL Collective, whose mission is to empower Rutgers student athletes to achieve their greatest potential in the classroom, on the playing field, and in life. Proceeds from the sales of this beer will be donated to a collective to help support that goal. This logo, like this branding, it's pretty sweet. You have the red horse, the red knight in front of the school's main administrative building, an American IPA, 7%. Get the job done for you in that regard. And On the Banks, rivers right there. It's a nice looking logo. I respect the vision they had with that. Next up is number 2. Number 2 on the Big Ten beers is going to be the Potosi Brewing Company Varsity Golden Ale. I don't know what it is about this if you're looking at it. The red stripes, the white stripes, it just works. There is an obnoxious wolf or badger on it. I was about to say Wolverine. There is an obnoxious badger on it, but I respect what they were going with the red and white stripes. It reminds me of something, nice, something decent, something probably a little better. But per the Potosi Brewing Company, Varsity Golden Ale clocks in at 4.0 ABV, pours a rich golden color, has the effervescence of a winning crowd, and a crisp sessionable flavor profile. A portion of the proceeds from the sale of Varsity Golden Ale will be used to provide name, image, and likeness opportunities for Wisconsin student athletes to continue to compete for championships. Man, they must not be drinking enough Varsity Golden Ale. On to number one. You know it. You love it. It's the best. Upland. Upland's Hoosier Game Day Lager. Look at that can. Look, I mean, and it's delicious too. 4.7 ABV. The Hoosier Game Day Lager. It's the stars, from the stars, you know, reminiscent to the bottom of the basketball shorts. The candy striped to the crown of Indiana scripts. You love it. It's a game day necessity now. And yeah, that's number one on the Burke's Big Five. So on to the Hoosier History Hit, and then we'll get you out of here. For your Hoosier History Hit, I am talking Charles H. Taylor, who was born in Brown County on June 24th, 1901. Charles Taylor attended Columbus High School, where he began playing for the Bulldogs basketball team in 1915. He became captain at the guard position his sophomore season and was a two-time All-Indiana selection before his graduation in 1919. In the year 1917, Converse began making shoes designed for the basketball court, the first of its kind, the Converse Non-Skid, a canvas and rubber shoe that would be the predecessor of the All-Star. It is believed that Charles Taylor began wearing these non-skids while playing for the Columbus Bulldogs in 1918. Charles Chuck Taylor would begin his semi-professional basketball career on March 19, 1919. That was 1919, appearing for the Columbus commercials. After his time with them and after the commercials were disbanded, Taylor went on to play for the Akron Non-Skids, as well as other teams around both Detroit and Chicago. Taylor pursued his dream of a basketball career for 11 more seasons at the semi-professional level. After his playing career ended in Chicago in 1920, he became a product promoter for the... I said 1920. No way. 1930, sorry. He became a product promoter for the Converse Rubber Shoe Company. Within 1 year of Chuck's introduction to the company, his suggestions for the changes to the no-skid shoe were taken and implemented into the All-Star design. After years of selling the All-Star on the road by hosting basketball clinics year-round, all on the All-Star's dime, like all on Converse's dime, Converse added his signature to the All-Star to credit him with his design ideas and his effort in getting them on the feet of pretty much every basketball player around the country at the time. Chuck Taylor had quite an impact on the game. He also invented the first stitchless basketball. I mean, what would a basketball be today with stitches? Crazy. Following that, he was commissioned into the U.S. Navy. Deemed too old to serve in combat at the time of World War II, he served as the basketball coach for the Wright Field Air Techs basketball team based at the Wright Base in Dayton, Ohio. After the war ended, Chuck continued to be a representative of Converse until he retired in 1968. Chuck Taylor seemed to be one of those work is fuel for life type of individuals, as the following year, on June 23rd, 1969, Chuck Taylor died of a heart attack in his home in Port Charlotte, Florida, just 1 day shy of his 68th birthday. Chuck is in both the Indiana and the Naismith National Basketball Hall of Fames, as well as the Sporting Goods Industry Hall of Fame. Today, Converse claims 270,000 pairs of Chuck Taylors are sold a day, and over 1 billion have been sold all time. Chuck always pushed the shoe, but never looked to receive royalties or a commission from his influence over its market dominance or design. Yeah. Chuck Taylor, Columbus, Indiana. A native Hoosier. There you go. Thank you so much for listening to the Often Daunted Podcast this week. Please subscribe to the Often Daunted Podcast on across podcast platforms. If you are already a subscriber there, please feel free to, jump onto that YouTube app. Subscribe to the YouTube if you want to see the ugly mug behind these, mid takes. And I will be back here following Indiana's first regular season game, hopefully with recaps of a win over a reconstructed Baylor squad, as well as an absolute ass whooping of the highest order over Alabama A&M. In that episode next week, we will be looking into the showdown with Marquette at the United Center. It's about to get real. It's about to get real quick. So please feel free, again, follow me across all socials at Often Daunted. Reach out to me there. Tell me what you think about the show, what I can improve on. And I can't appreciate your guys' support enough. God bless you and yours, Hoosier fans. I hope you have a great week. Take it easy. Lux et Veritas. Bye.